Hey everyone, welcome back to the mobile edition of the Your Project Shepherd podcast. I am live at IBS 2023. It's the International Builder Show in Las Vegas. We love coming here every year to check out all the new products, meet the vendors, and just learn more about the building industry and how we can just be better builders. So I am here today in the Tamlyn booth with Miguel, who is the president, is that right, President?
President and CEO.
President and CEO of Tamlyn. And we work with Tamlyn a lot. They are a great family-owned company, and they provide us some fantastic support. And so I wanted to talk to Miguel for a minute about systems of products and why when, as a consumer, you're talking to your builder and you're looking at their specifications that they give you, why should you care about what products are being specified? And why does it matter that those products are intended to be a system and to work as a system? So first of all, Miguel, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Curtis. Very good question. We always talk about our product because we have egos, right? We made it, we invented it, whatever the situation. So you got to use my product because it works. But see, it works on a standalone. That's the truth. Is that when we're building a home, it's just not your product in the home. There could be 8,500 different things in the home that could affect that one product that you manufacture. So the systems approach is extremely important for us, understanding. We'll go to our drainable wrap. And I think in this particular thing on the very back side, we have a system. And everybody sees here is what we have is a fiber cement panel. We have reveals. And we were talking to some of the manufacturers, the panel manufacturers. He says, well, we advocate in going in the future drainables, okay? So we'll say on our post, you are now allowed to use drainables. Oh, hooray. You know that everything eventually drains, okay? So what the manufacturers that manufacture poor WRB house wraps will take that to say, me too. See, because even toilet paper, when it's wet, will eventually drain, okay? And there's a lot of toilet paper house wraps on the market. What I'm trying to say is that you need to look at its whole system. So the panel guys were saying, well, as long as it's drainable, we're okay. No, it's not okay because it also affects your product. If you don't have a drainable in there that has that, what I call that capillary break, the gap like this, and let bulk water go through, you're going to have an issue with your product in the future. Because you're preaching sustainable, right? As a panel manufacturers, that's what they're saying. Oh, we are sustainable. Well, it's not sustainable on a system if it's not run right. It's sustainable if it never goes on a building, it's stored in a warehouse. That's sustainable. But it's actually going to be under pressure by nature, by the different factors, the negative pressure, the moisture, the hot, the cold, the effervescence. There's so many things that are factoring in to a building, especially a building envelope. So when you're building something, look at it as a system, not as a standalone. And that's how you're going to win. In this particular case, we're preaching to the fiber cement and the other panel manufacturers. Start at the very beginning with a good product that protects your product. Are you installing something that is compatible, supports it, and protects your product? If it's not a good system. You know, and that's how we preach it.
Yeah, and you guys have multiple products that go into that, so it's not just the wrap. It's the wrap and the combination with tapes and flashings. So talk about all the other products that kind of go into that system aside from the wrap.
Right. So the thing is that everybody spends so much money on the kitchen and bathrooms, right? Because that's the cool thing. They want to. That's what they're buying in the home. But yet they spend very little money on the building envelope, and that's where litigation all starts. Nobody's going to come see you because it's got a little pit on the kitchen faucet, okay? But the minute water comes in here, every single law firm will come looking for you.
Yeah.
So we know that. So you start with a good building envelope, whether you use OSB or CDX plywood. I prefer a plywood over OSB any day. Yeah, but 90% of people use OSB, which it is what it is. So we'll deal with it. What's the next step to do? Is apply a good non-woven or spun-bound material on the wall. Non-woven, we make it, so I would say non-woven, but non-woven or spun-bound is good. Start with that. Avoid using woven material anywhere, at any one of your projects. You're already starting with a problem because we're talking about a system. So you're protecting the OSB with a non-woven spun-bond material. The next thing is create a gap in there. So now you got a capillary break or a rain screen on your WRB. And now make sure you have a good taping system, a synthetic butyl that is compatible to what your WRB that you're using. So do your homework. Can you match and mix? Yes, as long as you've done your homework and it's compatible. So check with the manufacturers of the products of the tapes or the WRBs that they are matching. Don't ask your lumber dealer because he's not sure about it. He just wants to sell a product. No disrespect. I would probably do somewhat like that as well too. So just do your homework on that. The next tape is make sure that everything is flashed, shingle fashion. Any product being sold that is not shingle fashion is marketing, okay? Everything has to be shingle fashion because there's one thing in all nature that is stronger than anything else besides God is water. Water will find itself through it. And you can't stop water, but you can redirect water, okay? So we're trying to redirect water by shingle fashioning. There's a lot of people out there, I call them coated OSBs. And they're not a bad product. They're great innovation. I think in 10 years, they'll probably be great. But for now, I would recommend putting another layer WRB over it. Or make sure that they're shingle fashioning in that. In most cases, they're not. Okay? So find something always shingle fashioning. And the other thing that I'm still struggling with, we have plastic corners that go on the window corners or on the bottom of the doors, because I still believe that even though that flexible tape, and we struggle with it as well too, all tapes have memories. So it might apply real good for the first month or two, but eventually they're going to go back to its memory. So pre-manufactured corners on the windows are great, or liquid applied material on the corners. So that is my pitch on that. Having a full system, a non-woven WRB with a non-compressive capillary break. Because there's a lot of mashes out there. Those mashes are 70% compressive. Pretty soon you're going to have a wall that looks like that. It's going to drain, but your well is going to look like crap. Okay? So a good WRB, a non-woven WRB with a capillary break, synthetic butyls, corners, and make sure the other thing is, does that builder have a third-party inspector that understands building science?
Yes, exactly.
You don't get one. Because you need to have somebody keep an eye on me as a manufacturer or anybody else. I am, we've been in this business of Tamlyn since 1951, but we're not perfect. Sometimes we make mistakes, but there's a lot of product out there that is 90% marketing, 10% value product. Be careful with those. So that's why you need to do your homework. And third-party inspectors are a great way to police both the general contractor and the manufacturer.
Yeah, and also just having a good relationship with your vendors and being able to call on those reps as a builder, for me, is essential. So when we install Tamlyn products in our house, I'll call John, who's our rep, to come out and say, hey, let's do a walk around the house and just get your set of eyes on this.
Right.
He's not a licensed inspector, but he's an expert in dealing with this product. And so we like to call Tamlyn to come out to the job site. Let's just walk around and see if you see any problems. And like Miguel said, it's a third set of eyes. We always advocate multiple third-party inspections before it gets covered up, because once it's covered up, all bets are off.
Right.
So multiple third-party inspections, photo documentation. That way, if there is an issue in the future, you have some documentation of how things were installed, and you can go back and kind of troubleshoot that rather than tearing a wall apart, possibly.
Absolutely, because I've seen some great work being done, and they have a punch list, okay? And they checked everything on the punch list. But what if something was missing off that punch list? So those guys did a great job on checking off the punch list, but they missed 2 or 3 items. That's where the third-party inspector says, hey, listen, all great, but listen, you missed those 3 items. And they're very important items that have to be part of the whole system.
Yeah. And we like just sticking with one brand of product. You mentioned it's okay to mix and match some if you just do the research. But if we stick with like all Tamlyn products, we know that those products have been tested by you guys to work together. We know that your tape's going to work with your apps, going to work with your flashing products. There's no question about it. It just saves me time having to do that research. And does that affect the warranty at all? Is there a different warranty if we use the whole system versus part of the system?
Well, the benefit is having a whole system in place gives you a better warranty from our side for our protection from your side. Now, The only reason I said today's time we had supply chain issues, and it does make it harder for you to start picking up the call. Is this compatible with Tamlyn? Can I use brand X? Is that okay? So we have to do our own research, make sure we have it on our files that yes, that matches, you're okay. Sorry that we're out of that particular item. Hopefully it doesn't happen most of the time, but we want to make sure that we're taking care of our customer, to have him use our complete system, because that's easier for you. We know our information, we know our product, but if there's a situation where you're missing one or two products, we want to be able to service you, the builder. So giving you an option A, B. Listen, sorry about that, but these two, three things are good for you. But as a full system, yeah, each manufacturer has good warranties. We have a 25-year warranty. We have a 15-year warranty. So we have good warranties. The more you use of the whole system, the better. And for us, when we go check, when there is an issue, we go through our punch list of the warranty products that you have. We want to make sure they're all being used in the project to support you.
Yeah.
Because we know if we failed, at least we know why we failed. You know, we're not perfect. You know, our hope is that we have done our homework well. We had third-party testing and third-party inspection of our product before we launch it.
Yeah. You mentioned the rain screen a minute ago, which is one of the products that we love using from Tamlyn, is your rain screen products. For viewers who may not be aware of it, tell people about what your rain screen products are.
So first we started with a 1.5 millimeter product, because back in 1997 with James Hardy out of Chicago, and at that time they were in California. James Hardy, Tamlyn, the University of Waterloo in Ontario did some testing. And through Dr. John Straub, found out that 1 millimeter, also Dr. Joseph Stubrick, I would reach out to Building Science Corporation, great group to talk to about. They found that 1 millimeter is all you need for good drains, okay? So you need 1 millimeter. But we looked at there's certain markets where there's very heavy rain, maybe in the southern markets or up in north in the Canadian markets, we have a lot of more bulk water, that you need more than 1 millimeter. And that's where the 6.3 comes in, or a 10.1 millimeter. It's a little more meat into that. If you're dealing with stucco, that is an ideal product for 6.3. So it's more rain screen in there, but also a panel. If that was up to me, I'd be using 6 millimeter in everywhere. And it's just, I know that the still saying more is better. 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter is great, but there's always going to be issues of how these walls operate sometimes. So it's better to have a little bit extra, you know, use it, keep it simple, good method of making sure you cover all your bases.
Well, I appreciate you joining us today. I think that's about all I got for you. I'll let you get back to the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Curtis.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on the podcast with me today.
Yeah. And if anybody has any questions on all our water management products, all the reveal system, reach out to Curtis or ourselves here. We're more glad to help you. Been doing this for 51 years, not myself, the company. But still, I have a very strong background in construction and building science. We have a great team, the same many years of construction and building science. So we're here to support you, the customer, to make sure that even if you don't use our products, we'll answer your questions to help you to build a better home today. Thank you.
And we will definitely be linking their website, social media, all that stuff. They do a great job of posting a lot of job site videos and product informational videos on their social media as well. So be sure and check that out. But thanks for joining us on this quick mobile edition of the Your Project Shepherd podcast, and we'll see you again soon.